Okay, so today's guest is Just. How you doing, Just?
Hello, my friend. How are you?
Yeah, smashing. This is the second take because we started having this discussion and Chris fucked up the Mac and it wasn't recording.
Didn't press the record button solidly enough, so...
I've already discussed the fact
you can be forgiven, guys. You can be forgiven.
Thankfully, that was only like a minute as opposed to getting into it for 45 minutes. And then go,
2 hours down the line. You know?
Yeah, that hasn't been recorded.
So, you tell me, last night you stayed up to about 4 in the morning drinking and eating fry-ups. Is that right?
We recorded a podcast last night with my pal Mike, who was in a couple of bands that had done well. And he was going through his songs and he chipped off. And we normally record a little bar at the end of my garden.
Right. At the end of your garden?
Yeah, it's a shed.
Okay.
But we've
that
got
sounds
a little...
a bit like my brother.
Yeah, it's called the Whiff Inn. See what I mean? And so we ended up staying down there and having a few beers, and then we was actually going through Elastica records and stuff on MTV, on YouTube and stuff last night, weren't we? And then somehow it spiraled into PJ Harvey led us into Nick Cave, and then we just went on Nick Cave binge, and it was like 3 o'clock, it's time to go to bed, so we're.
But I feel alright today. Yeah, I feel quite alert.
Yeah. It sounds like my brother. My brother's got a bar. Yours is the Whiff Inn. Is his dance bar, and it's it's got all the. It's got a pool table. And
wow, mine's not that much.
Yeah, well, he's a bit more rural, probably.
Yeah.
And he's got a few arcade machines and.
Oh wow.
Sega Rally and all that, and it's.
Oh really?
Yeah, he's gone to town on it, and any rock and roll memorabilia that I can give him. You know. Yeah. For instance, he's got the old Lush bass drum head up, and it's just a nostalgia trip down there. Half a car boot sour and half of it's all right.
I've basically just got photographs of boxers on mine.
And then one of Michael Jackson over your half, over your sort of like fireplace.
That is the wife's picture, but I'm not showing that.
Well, next time I'm in Essex, then I'm gonna have to
come round.
Definitely.
Sounds like an invite I can't refuse.
Justin, can I ask you just to move that mic slightly closer to you, mate?
Yeah,
just because we are picking you up. But,
is that it? You good?
There we go. I think that's better. Yeah. Lovely.
So welcome to Brighton, guys. Anyway, welcome.
I love it.
To the seaside. No, you're not far from the sea anyway, really, are you?
We're on the Thames.
Yeah.
It's all the same. It's all water.
It's all dirty water.
All leads out to the sea.
I've not been to Brighton. I think last time we came to Brighton was with Scroobius and Africa Bambara at the Hall.
Yeah, I think that was.
I DJ'd for one of your nights.
You done?
No, not the Haunt.
New Era. It was
possibly.
At the time, I believe.
In the Clock Tower.
Yeah, was that with Matt? Was that with Matt?
Yeah.
Yeah, you come.
Strange evening, but.
Was it a busy one or was it really not a busy one?
I won't say.
Yeah, it was one of them ones.
It was busier where I was DJing, obviously. Because, of course, I had all the rock records here.
Obviously. Well, how did we meet, Justin, initially? Like,
I've known you for quite a long time now, haven't I?
Yeah.
So,
I think you DJ for somebody in Shoreditch, and I was like, oh, wow. Like, did you DJ for Ronnie?
I must have done. I did do a few nights for Ronnie, a couple of his clubs.
Right, and I think I was like...
And then you put us on, I'm sure, with the Asbo Kid thing.
Queen of Hoxton.
Yes, we did that, and then you... Well, no, I think you called me and just said, do you want to do a few more?
You come with a toothbrush and done some stuff, you rated, didn't you?
I mean, it's historic, the toothbrush. You know.
Well, I'll tell you what. Let's start on your musical journey a little bit.
Yeah, go on.
With the toothbrush then.
Yeah.
Because pre-Elastica, you was.
Well, I played drums for Spitfire.
That's right.
And I can't even remember, but I joined the band. Ironically, it was from when I come down to Brighton for a day, and ended up being in the band, you know. And like a week later, so we were on tour, and one of those dates was the Pink Toothbrush, I believe.
So how old was you then?
Well, I would have been 18 because when I left work, just about a couple of weeks later after my 18th birthday, because in those days you could sign on, so that was always my game plan. When I moved down to London. The idea was get a job, do what I could to make ends meet for a while, whether it be working in the bakery, which was one of the jobs, or with a view to join, being in a band. In those days, it was easy to live in London. It's pretty cheap. You could get away with living quite cheaply, and then when you were 18, you could sign on. So that was always my plan.
Yeah.
And of course, when you sign on, you go down a Dole office, and everyone you knew was in a band. So it's quite a good networking place, really. You're supposed to be looking for job seekers or whatever. That was it. Everyone was trying to find a new somewhere else to go. But yeah, we were on. We played the Toothbrush. I think it was a good night. It was a good night. Yeah.
Yeah, Spitfire. I do Wild Sunshine. That was the tune, wasn't it?
Yeah. I played on that track. I did play on that track.
That was a fucking killer single, that one.
Yeah. I did that. They'd had a couple before, a couple of EPs, which was...
Wild Sunshine was an EP, wasn't it?
It was, yeah. Black cover, with a sort of wheel or something like that. I think that was a vinyl, red vinyl, I think it came out on as well.
You might be right.
If you got one of those, worth a fortune they are these days. So, and then I did the album. with them, and then I left just after we'd recorded the record, because I did at the same time I was starting to rehearse with Justin and Donna and Annie as Elastica. So so I did a couple of records with them, and we did. I mean, Spitfire was great. I've got fond memories of that band. It was like your apprenticeship, really.
Yeah.
In those days, you'd get in a van, you'd go up and down the country.
Yeah.
Night after night. Like I say, you didn't really need a lot of money, and it was as long as your rent was being paid. And the whole point of being in a band then was, you'd play, you'd get food and drink, and you'd be playing every night. And that was it. And
it's worse by 17, 18 years old, isn't it?
I don't know if many bands do that anymore. There's lots to be said for getting in the back of a transit van. And I mean, Jeff, the singer, used to announce at the end of the night, end of the gig, thanks for coming and all the rest of it, and say, can anyone put us up?
Yeah.
And we would just be crashing on people's floors every night. I mean, but we were touring. That was all that mattered. People were coming to the gigs, and then on the back of that, because the band was good and tight and it played a lot, it would get. We had some decent supports like the Lush tour, which has come full circle on that one. Blur, the Leisure tour, which was brilliant, because obviously Blur were then at their peaking point already. They'd had an album which had been successful and a top 10 single, which was slightly unheard of in those days. For an indie band to get on top of the pops. Yeah. And it was the Uni tour, which or bring back university tours.
Yeah. What else do you want? Like as you were saying, it wasn't like amazingly paid or whatnot, but you were sort of like cutting your teeth and learning the sort of craft and absolutely having a blast with it.
Exactly.
And,
for a musician at 18 years old,
I don't think I mean, what you do have now is, I guess, music colleges, but in some ways that's put a damper on it in many ways, because the only gigs they do is through the college. Yeah. Really, you've got to get out there. Still, you just got to get out there and go and play. I mean, one, you're going to become a better musician, which is not be all and end all, but you're going to get the experience of playing. Yeah. But if there was more opportunity for bands to do that, I think there'd be a lot better bands around, and everyone would stop worrying about individually trying to get what they can and become a session musician or whatever. Yeah. It was a gang. Spitfire was a gang. It was like the Clash or something. It's just everyone's living together and making a racket and making mistakes together, but learning fast, and you do learn fast.
Well, we've got you've kindly put together 2 lists for us. Yeah. So, do you want to tell us what the first list we're going to do? Well,
when you asked me to do this, it was kind of I tend to think of what is your favourite, what is your top 10 or the sort of top 5, and we're going to look at sort of top 5, but I struggle to think of a top 5, really, because there's so many.
It's hard. Yeah.
I don't think I could ever get a top. I've probably got 5 number 1s. 5 number 2s, and 5. And so to narrow it down a little bit, I kind of see it as 5 songs that I've got some sort of connection with. Yeah. Maybe that's a different way. I hope that doesn't spoil the game and I have to get out of jail free card early on. But it's almost like 5 singles, 5 records,
Yeah.
which means something to me.
Yeah.
And so I've chosen the 80s for out of those categories for the first bit, which and a lot of the choices as I go through is really because I've got some sort of memory that's attached to it. And it might not necessarily always be the lyrical content or something like what that record meant to me.
Yeah,
well, that's great. That's what a lot what this is about as well, because it's sometimes fun to sort of like try and get reminisce and think of the things that have influenced you or that have stuck with you. And it's when we looked at this, there's a lot of these. You know, when you go online these days, there's a lot of those like your top 5. They're always like clickbait for people to look at. Top 5 celebrity outfit malfunctions and stuff like that, just for people click on there and then they realise, what am I doing with my life? This is a poor life choice. And we thought we'd do one where we could actually really have a good conversation about things that mattered to people that we know or who are inspiring in different fields, and actually just have a good dig deep into what has influenced them, what they love. And if they rate it, fine. If they don't, that's absolutely fine, because we never really, as I say, this is a new format for us, so it's not about what one's got to be the best. It's just try and narrow it down, because if we were going to do like the top 20, then it almost doesn't mean anything. What's your top 100 favourite movies?
Well, that's like doing the polls at the end of the year, isn't it? The music poll. I mean, when I worked at, when I first moved to London, I was lucky enough to get a job at a place called Music Box, which was great. Before they used to have a rock program called Raw Power and Indie One Transmission, and a couple of like sort of like Saturday morning sort of shows. I think Pat Sharp was one of the presenters and that sort of thing. But one of my jobs every week was to compile a top 10. Now, it wasn't down to record sales or the Gallup charts or anything. I used to just get the Enemy, the Melody Maker, smash it, blah, 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 and go, well, that one's been at number 2 for a couple of weeks. And I'd just make them up. And that's how we would do the chart show. That was one of our shows.
Oh, really?
And that's how we used to make the chart up.
When you get the rock chart or the indie chart, we were talking about this last night. Like, I'd be watching the chart show just thinking, please be the indie chart this week, please be the indie chart. And so I'd think, fucking hell, they're at number 1. And that was just you going, yeah, that's probably good enough.
I was the T-boy, you know. I thought
it was some supercomputer.
Number 1 this week, Spitfire.
Again,
if only I'd made a record spot and it would have been number 1. It's funny how that record's still at number 1. No idea why. But that was one of my little jobs, you know, in amongst formatting tapes and running around stuff. Again, this job, my title as a traffic coordinator, which, what does that mean?
What does that mean?
It sounded good, didn't it? Gave me another 20 quid a week. And then I'd have to do this chart. So I'd go and scribble it down, you know, and just get it down to the editing suite, and they'll put this chart show together.
That is brilliant. There's people out there being influenced by your sort of scrambling it together, and you know that's brilliant. No. Exactly. Yeah.
So I've just chosen a bunch of tracks which, I kind of guess they sort of mean something to me really. So I thought I'd start off with one which never leaves the record bag, and because it's always if I'm on a flat spot when I'm DJ, not that I've done a lot of DJing recently, I've always put on Salt and Pepper's Push It. And that has been my get out of jail free card. Really has, you know. I mean, another one that I probably would have put on was Pump Up the Volume.
Yeah. Oh, right, yeah.
In the right place would always work.
Yeah.
But Push It is kind of, for me, was great. I mean, the drums are great. And the best thing about that track, really, is it was a B-side.
Yeah, I didn't know this. When you said that, I did a bit of digging as well. Yeah.
It was a B-side to Tramp or something like that. And then a year later, because it was, you know, people preferred it than the A-side. They released it.
Have you heard Tramp? Have you heard it?
Yeah.
It is. I do not like it. No wonder. But I can't even imagine how they put those two together, even and pressed it and went, oh, that's the B-side. Like, they were having a bad day when they decided to make that a B-side. Because the production difference between Tramp and Push It, it's a different league.